Hi, everyone, and welcome to Third Wave's presentation of Global Transportation Management and Trade Compliance, two sides of the same coin. My name's Grant Cernick, and I'm the Director of Sales here at Third Wave. And we're bringing this webinar back by popular demand. We did it last year, and we've had numerous requests to do it again in an updated form. In this webinar, we focus on the benefits of managing transportation and trade compliance together. When these two processes are managed together, it invariably creates the best operational data the company has, providing opportunities for creative analysis and enhanced decision-making. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. We're going to try to keep this webinar to 60 minutes. It is being recorded, and we are going to send out the recording and the slides in the next couple of days. We've reserved some time at the end for some Q&A. So please write your questions in the dialog box, and we're going to do our best to answer the questions towards the end. If we can't get to all the questions, we are going to respond to the individual who asked the questions with an answer. And finally, we're starting a new project where we're going to try to put these webinar recordings up as a podcast, so you can listen to them at your own convenience even when you're on the road. So please keep your eyes out for details on that. And finally, just a note about Third Wave being committed to helping our customers achieve excellence, but also to educate the trade community on being able to execute their processes better. We do believe that companies big and small should be striving towards excellence. And it's our job to help them envision it, push them to realize it, regardless of whether they use the third platform or not. So we are pleased that you're here to join us today, and it's time to get to the webinar. Our returning attendees will recognize Ned Linic. He's Third Wave's Chief Product Officer. Ned's been involved in managing global supply chains his entire professional career and has held various positions of executive leadership for importing and distribution companies. And as I said, he most recently has led the visioning of the Third Wave platform. He has a deep understanding of what it takes to build world-class supply chains. So let's get going. Here's Ned.
Thanks, Grant, and good afternoon, everyone. This topic, global transportation management and trade compliance, two sides, same coin, is something that we have believed in since the inception of Third Wave. This has been an underlying principle that was born from my experiences when I actually ran a mid-size import-export business. When we look at global trade, the role of global transportation is obvious, but that of trade compliance is certainly more subtle. However, trade compliance in business is like the big toe on a person. When you stub that toe, it really focuses you on the pain and it gets your attention. So the takeaways from today's, the purpose of this webinar is to really talk about how transportation and trade compliance are both part of the business organism, and although they might not be seen to be equally important, they both cause significant organizational pain if they are not well managed. The fact that the organization might not know its part or that this is part of the problem is a significant problem. To put it into context as to why these two functions are very much aligned, you only need to look as far as your freight forwarder, 3PL, or customs broker. In essence, what they sell you is their ability to provide integrated physical supply chain services, that is, the integrated transportation management and trade compliance, along with layered visibility and reporting tools. So to set the expectations for this webinar, there is little in the presentation that you as a seasoned transportation or trade compliance professional will find particularly novel. However, at the end of the presentation, I hope you will walk away with a greater understanding as to how transportation and trade compliance can be aligned both from a data and information perspective, and how that alignment delivers significantly greater value to the organization. For the purposes of this discussion, the coin analogy is really referenced to the flow of product through the international supply chain. And when we talk about the international supply chain, we are really talking about the physical movement of a SKU from origin to destination across international boundaries, whether that's inbound or outbound, whether in transit, at a border, or at a distribution node such as a port or warehouse. One side of ensuring that goods move smoothly is transportation. The other side is trade compliance. The underlying premise of two sides, same coin is based on two simple factors. The first one being that in most organizations, transportation and trade compliance often work independently of each other with little coordination and visibility into each other's activities. And secondly, that these two departments are so closely linked through information that when they are not integrated, overall supply chain performance is materially and meaningfully impaired, or conversely, when they do share information, the value is much greater than 1 + 1 = 2. So the takeaways are to understand the importance of transportation management and trade compliance in the globalized world environment and how when they work together, there's advantages to the organization. We want you to understand why challenges exist today, and many of them you will know, but we're going to enumerate them anyways. Then we're going to look at how integrating information flows between internal department and external actors and transportation and trade compliance provides exceptional operating capabilities and efficiencies. And lastly, we're going to look at how supply chain visibility and visualization supports organizational communication and collaboration.